For today you have the standard French setup of Soult's 4th Corps here and Lanné's 5th Corps here. Of note, on the coalition side, you have Colruyt in reserve and Bagration, the advance guard, and the guard, the Russian Guard Corps itself, all in one. So here you have Constantin's HQ out here, but it's just a decoy. Everything is right here. Now, of course, the French player looking across here doesn't know that at all. He just sees a concentration of corps here and what looks to be a weak Russian left over here. Most of the initial forces aren't going to move. The French are all on defensive, and besides the few attacking corps in the coalition, most of the coalition is going to hold its place. Colruyt comes right up to the ridgeline and waits. Bernadotte's 1st Corps, Liechtenstein's 5th Corps. We'll put this here. First turn, Austrian 1st Corps. Napoleon comes right up the main road. Bagration advances. Constantin's HQ, which we all know is just a dummy HQ, is moving behind the Austrian cavalry screen. Soult's 4th Corps. Alright, remember it's a foggy morning. Units can only see a third of a foot move, a third away, so nobody can see anybody yet, but they can hear them out there. Checking the rules to make sure I don't confuse them with Germantown. The fog is here for the first 3 turns. Bernadotte's 1st Corps moves south. Constantin's Guard, they're following the cavalry screen, but they were drawn first, so they don't move. Napoleon's Guard Corps is drawn but remains where it is. The Austrian player wouldn't know if he's got the whole corps there, or is he just hiding, looking like he's got the whole corps there. The Austrian cavalry screen moves forward, but stays outside of visual contact. Lanné sends Caffarelli's division across the Goldbach. Davout enters. It's now past 9 o'clock. The fog holds stubbornly. Liechtenstein attacks the French forces at the Stanton Church. Bernadotte crosses the Goldbach River. Colruyt's 4th Corps charges the hilltop along with the Austrian cav. The Austrian cavalry screen moves off to the left. Lanné's forces fall back across the Goldbach. They have no reason to hold there, not when they're outflanked. Davout's 3rd Corps advances across the Goldbach. Soult's 4th Corps continues to hold. Bagration prods forward. Just past 9 o'clock, and Bagration and Lanné contact. The infantry clash is indecisive, but the Austrian hussars hold the ground. It's late morning and the fog is cleared. Bernadotte's forces are exposed, as are Davout's, and Napoleon's HQ can be seen by Colruyt's corps. Now they know the whole French command is on the board. This has changed everything because now this means that the French are obligated to attack and destroy the Austrians. All they have to do is avoid the destruction of their army, and they win. The burden of attack is no longer on them. Colruyt's troops fall back to the Pratzen. The French Guard moves forward. Lanné's corps redirects more towards the northern end of the battlefield. Cavalry screen repositions. Langren's 2nd Corps on the Pratzen can just shell the orchard here, but they do so to no effect. Bagration's advance guard falls back. Murat's cavalry gets ready to charge. Constantin's Guard HQ is still behind the cavalry screen. The only French within range of Doctorow's artillery is Rivaud's division here, but it's behind a hill, so it cannot be seen. Liechtenstein directs his cavalry to attack the Guard's artillery. Davout's corps advances forward. The Austrian cavalry attacking the exposed Guard's artillery. The Guard's artillery is pulled away just in time. It's early afternoon. Landgren moves up to back up the artillery on the hill. Colruyt continues to fall back. Lanné's hussars attack the Austrian hussars, and his infantry pours around the French left flank. Caffarelli's division races to keep up. Liechtenstein's Austrian cavalry rides off, having done their mission. Murat's cavalry charges the Austrian cavalry screen. So the French had the cuirassiers attacking, and the Austrians had hussars. So they fell back, damaged infantry that was spent. In their place, fresh infantry backed up by dragoons fill the void. Constantin's Guard HQ moves west or south on the Pratzen. Bernadotte's artillery invests the orchard. His infantry stays south of the ridge here, out of the firing line of most of the artillery. Doctor's artillery fires on the French artillery in the orchard, reducing them to spent. Davout's artillery gets around the coalition left flank. Friant's division stays just out of the infantry fire range. Ken Meyer's cavalry outflanks Murat's cavalry. Guard artillery moves back on the hill. French guard occupies the church at Saint-Ouen. The other French guard nestles up right behind the cuirassiers. The only combat is the cavalry combat. Murat's cuirassiers fall back into his dragoons, and Liechtenstein's cavalry is spent. Now this is going to be a tough row to hoe here for the French because they got spotted early. And the Austrians and Russians figured out what was going on. And they're falling back to the Pratzen now. It's mid-afternoon. Bagration falls back to the northern side of the Pratzen. Murat's cavalry counterattacks Ken Meyer's cavalry. Guard's artillery fires at extreme range. Essen's Austrians are damaged. Davout's men drive on the Austrian left, and the dragoons find his bags. Not wishing to fight disadvantageously, Ken Meyer's cavalry pulls back. Soult positions his 4th Corps artillery and the dragoons farther forward. Bernadotte also assaults the coalition left, south of the Pratzen. Bagration actually releases Constantin, the Russian guard, and has them going south. Trubachev's artillery, just out of range of the French targets here. Doktorov, as best he can, pulls his bags back up out of the Pratzen, as well as one of his infantry division. His artillery opens up on Bernadotte's 1st Corps troops, driving them back. 2nd Corps artillery again opens up on 1st Corps artillery. There's the 1st Corps artillery that fired. Now 2nd Corps fires. The artillery is driven back. Colerate's 4th Corps falls back to the peak, pulls his reserves, and puts them on the line. Lannes hot-foots it forward. Lannes' hussars charge Liechtenstein's spent hussars. Liechtenstein beats a hasty retreat. It's late afternoon. Lots of fighting, but none of it decisive. But here we have the guard assaulting the hill. The advance guard simply falls back. The guard is frustrated. They're not even trying. Early evening. The guard is racing forward. Will heroism prevail? Wait, almost missed a combat here. Russians are holed up in Auchet. They both sacrifice everything committed, and no one is left in any condition to claim the territory. Looks like the town will fall to the French, since the coalition is in no place to recapture it. Davout deploys bags. Dragoons try to turn the coalition left flank. Lannes continues to push his 5th Corps forward. The hussars charge the coalition right flank, hoping to stop them from flanking the cavalry attack in the center. Murat's cavalry drives on the Austrian advance guard cavalry. Soult's artillery manages to damage the 1st Austrian Corps slightly. Colerate's 4th Corps is uniquely positioned to flank both attacks by the French. Bernadotte's 1st Corps takes advantage of the unpacked bags and returns to full strength. His hussars are sent forward to work with Davout's cavalry. The advance guard again falls back and escapes the French guard attack, so they stay here on the flank. 4th Corps still just out of range. Hohenloh's cuirassiers hold and engage and trap the guard cavalry. Ken Meyer's Austrian Corps drives on Murat's cavalry. Doktorov falls back on the Pratzen. And Constantin's guard cavalry shows up just in time to scare off that pesky French cav. Last turn combat. Murat's cuirassiers are able to dash off, doing a little damage to the hussars as they do so. And here, the French guard is caught in a most unenviable flanking situation, but they escape safely. And so here we are. There's time for one more effort, one final blow. Will one final blow do them in? Make a difference? Napoleon judges not. In this instance, Napoleon was not able to capture the Austrian guard wrong-footed, as it were. This time the battle ended much more like you would expect. Nothing decisive. Good game.